Admiral Sarah Chen stood before the holographic display in the Quantum Defense Network's Central Command, her expression unchanged as she watched the approaching fleet of alien vessels. They thought they were being clever, using gravitational lensing to bend light around their ships while broadcasting peace signals. But humanity had long since developed technologies that made such primitive attempts at deception almost laughable. They're still maintaining the diplomatic facade, Lieutenant Commander Jackson reported, his fingers dancing across the neural interface console. Their transmission patterns match known peaceful first contact protocols, but the quantum signature analysis shows weapon systems charging beneath their shield harmonics. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. For decades, humanity had maintained the appearance of a relatively primitive spacefaring civilization. Their visible satellites were purposefully outdated, their official space presence limited to a few lunar bases and Mars colonies. But beneath this carefully crafted veneer lay the true extent of human advancement. How many ships in their actual fleet? She asked, though the quantum sensors had already provided that information to her neural implant. 87 capital ships. Admiral. They're keeping 62 of them in quantum fold space, thinking we can't detect them. Jackson's voice carried a hint of amusement. They're using third-generation quantum masking technology, rather outdated by our standards. The approaching alien fleet, calling themselves the hegemony of allied species, had no idea they were walking into a carefully laid trap. Humanity had detected their approach 3 years ago, using their network of consciousness-based quantum sensors that extended throughout the galaxy. Rather than immediately revealing their true capabilities, Earth's Unified Defense Council had chosen to wait, to observe, to learn. Time to demonstrate why humanity never needed to join their little empire, Sarah said, activating her neural link to the planetary defense grid. Across Earth, hidden quantum generators hummed to life, their energy signatures carefully contained within subspace to avoid detection. The alien fleet's primary diplomatic vessel, a massive structure of crystalline alloys and energy fields, moved into high Earth orbit. Right on schedule, they began broadcasting their message in multiple formats: radio waves, quantum packets, even primitive light-based signals. Greetings, people of Earth. We come representing the hegemony of allied species, bringing peace and advancement to all civilizations, ready to join the galactic community. Sarah let them finish their rehearsed speech, noting how their energy signatures shifted as weapon systems were brought to full power behind their diplomatic shields. They expected either immediate surrender or token resistance. What they got instead would reshape their understanding of humanity's place in the galaxy. Send them our response, she commanded. Across Earth's surface, hundreds of quantum apertures opened simultaneously, each one a testament to technology the hegemony couldn't begin to comprehend. The apertures released concentrated streams of modified chronotons, particles that existed outside normal temporal physics. As the particles washed over the alien fleet, their advanced systems began to experience what they would later describe as impossible. Time itself seemed to flow differently around each of their ships. Quantum temporal field established, Jackson confirmed. Their ships are now experiencing time at 1,000th normal speed. They're effectively frozen from their perspective, though their consciousness remains aware. Sarah opened a communication channel to the now immobilized fleet. Greetings, representatives of the hegemony. We appreciate your diplomatic overture, though we find the hidden weapons somewhat disappointing. Perhaps we should discuss your true intentions, now that we have your undivided attention. The quantum sensors detected waves of shock and fear emanating from the alien vessels. Their attempts to activate weapons or defensive systems proved futile within the temporal field. Humanity had just demonstrated mastery over time itself, and this was merely their opening move. You'll find your quantum fold space fleet is similarly contained, Sarah continued, referring to their hidden ships. We've been aware of your approach since you entered this arm of the galaxy. Your attempt at deception was noted, analyzed, and countered before you ever reached our solar system. Through the quantum sensors, Sarah could detect the alien commander's mixture of terror and awe. Their civilization had never encountered a species capable of such technological feats, let alone one that appeared so primitive on initial scans. We are transmitting a comprehensive analysis of your fleet's technological capabilities, along with a detailed explanation of how we detected and countered each one," Sarah added. "Consider this both a demonstration and a warning. Humanity has chosen isolation not out of weakness, but because we advanced beyond the need for traditional galactic politics." The temporal field began to dissolve, returning the alien ships to normal time-space. Their weapons remained inactive, their shields operating at minimal power, a clear sign they understood the futility of their original plan. "You have 24 hours to withdraw your entire fleet, including those hidden in quantum-fold space. After that, we will be happy to establish diplomatic relations, on equal terms, with no hidden agendas. Humanity doesn't negotiate from a position of weakness. We never had to." As the alien fleet hastily reorganized for departure, Sarah turned to Jackson. "Inform the Council that Phase 1 is complete. It's time to show the galaxy why humanity chose to hide its true capabilities for so long." The real demonstration of human technological superiority was about to begin, and the hegemony would soon learn that their understanding of what was possible had been embarrassingly limited. The silent response. The hegemony's High Council chamber erupted into chaos as the reports from Earth filtered in. Supreme Commander Vex Thor, a towering figure with iridescent scales and multiple sensory organs, struggled to maintain order among the assembled representatives of 37 spacefaring species. "Impossible," shouted Councillor Zarak, his crystalline form vibrating with agitation. "No civilization at their development stage could possess such technology. Our deep space scans showed them barely capable of reaching their own moon." Vex Thor activated the chamber's holographic display, showing the temporal distortion their fleet had experienced. "And yet, they control time itself as easily as we manipulate matter. Our most advanced sensors couldn't even detect how they did it." The chamber fell silent as a new alert flashed across their quantum communications network. Across hegemony space, every military installation, secret research facility, and classified shipyard was simultaneously receiving the same message, a complete technical analysis of their own defensive capabilities, including vulnerabilities they hadn't even discovered yet. "They're in our networks," whispered Technical Director Maven, her tentacles writhing in distress. But that's not the worst part. The timestamp on these analyses, they're from 3 years ago. Vex Thor felt a chill run through his neural clusters. Humanity hadn't just defeated their fleet. They had been studying the hegemony for years, methodically documenting every weakness, every flaw in their supposedly impenetrable defenses. "New signal detected," announced the quantum communications officer. "It's different, unlike anything in our databases." The chamber's holographic display shifted, showing a simple image, a human hand, palm forward, in what their xenologists identified as a gesture of stopping or halting. No words, no demands, no threats. Just this single, silent message broadcast simultaneously to every world, every ship, every colony in hegemony space. "They're not even bothering to threaten us," Zarak realized, his crystalline form dimming with dread. "They're showing us they don't need to." Technical Director Maven's tentacles suddenly went rigid. "Council members, I'm detecting quantum fluctuations throughout our space. They're scanning us. All of us. Simultaneously." The implications hit Vex Thor like a physical blow. Humanity wasn't just technologically superior. They were operating on a level that made the hegemony's most advanced achievements look like a child's first attempts at technology. Another transmission. The communications officer reported, voice wavering. It's our own classified files. Everything. Military deployments, technological specifications, even the personal neural patterns of our leadership." The message was clear. Humanity didn't need to fight. They had already won, long before the hegemony even knew there was a competition. Across hegemony space, research facilities began reporting strange phenomena. Quantum computers started solving previously impossible problems. Experimental drives achieved efficiencies that defied their design parameters. It was as if someone had subtly adjusted the fundamental laws of physics within hegemony territory. "They're teaching us," Maven whispered, her scientific mind finally grasping the true meaning of these events. Like adults showing children a better way to build their toys. Vexthor watched as more data poured in. Humanity wasn't destroying their technology or disabling their defenses. Instead, they were systematically demonstrating how primitive those defenses were, how limited their understanding of the universe had been. "Counselors," he addressed the stunned assembly, "I believe we need to radically reassess our position in the galaxy. We thought ourselves advanced enough to guide younger civilizations. We were wrong." The human hand remained projected across hegemony space, a silent reminder that they were no longer the ones in control. They had wanted to bring humanity into their empire, to guide them toward civilization. Instead, they found themselves facing a species so advanced that the very concept of military conflict was beneath them. "New activity detected in the Sol system," reported the sensor officer. "They're building something. Something big." The holographic display showed massive structures appearing in Earth orbit, constructed using principles that defied hegemony physics. Quantum fields interweaved with temporal matrices, creating architectures that shouldn't have been possible. "They're not building weapons," Maven observed, her scientific protocols analyzing the structures. "They're building gateways, connections points." Vexthor understood. Humanity wasn't preparing for war. They were preparing to reshape the galaxy itself, and the hegemony's choice was simple: adapt to the new reality, or become irrelevant in the new order that was about to emerge. Paradigm shift. Dr. Elena Martinez stood in Earth's quantum consciousness laboratory, watching as streams of pure thought energy flowed through crystalline matrices. Around her, human consciousness existed in forms the hegemony couldn't begin to comprehend. Patterns of pure energy, transferable between bodies, machines, or even the fabric of space-time itself. "They're requesting another demonstration," her colleague Dr. James Chen announced, his physical form flickering slightly as part of his consciousness remained merged with the quantum network. The hegemony scientists still can't accept what they're seeing. Elena smiled, remembering humanity's own journey to this point. They had discovered consciousness transfer almost by accident, while researching quantum entanglement at the subatomic level. What began as a curious observation about quantum particles reacting to human observation had led to the greatest breakthrough in human history: the ability to separate consciousness from physical form. "Show them," she commanded, stepping onto the consciousness transfer platform. Her physical form dissolved into patterns of pure energy, her awareness expanding to encompass the entire laboratory. Then the planet, then reaching out across space to where the hegemony observers waited. The alien scientists watched in stunned silence as Elena's consciousness manifested in their secure observation chamber, billions of light years from Earth. Not as a hologram or projection, but as a fully aware interactive presence that existed everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. "Your species thinks in such linear terms," Elena's voice echoed in their minds, her consciousness gently touching theirs. "You built mighty ships to cross space, when space itself is merely a construct of consciousness. You developed weapons to destroy bodies, never understanding that physical form is just one expression of existence. In the quantum labs across Earth, humanity's true capabilities were finally being revealed. Zero-point energy generators, tapping into the infinite potential of vacuum space, powered technologies that reshaped reality itself. Consciousness-guided manufacturing created materials that evolved and adapted to their users' needs. Time was no longer a constant but a variable, manipulated as easily as matter. We hid these advances not out of fear," Elena explained to the trembling alien observers, "but because we knew you weren't ready. Your civilizations still think in terms of conquest and submission. You haven't yet learned that true power comes from understanding the fundamental nature of consciousness itself." Back in the laboratory, Dr. Chen activated the zero-point energy demonstration. Across the galaxy, hegemony sensors detected impossible energy readings as humanity demonstrated their mastery over the fundamental forces of the universe. Stars dimmed momentarily as their energy was redirected. Black holes pulsed with controlled quantum fluctuations, and the very fabric of space-time rippled like water. Your weapons are based on destroying physical forms, Alina continued, her consciousness now simultaneously present in hundreds of hegemony observation posts. But we have transcended the need for fixed physical existence. We are consciousness given form, energy given purpose. How do you wage war against beings who exist everywhere and nowhere? The hegemony's greatest scientists watched as their most advanced theoretical models were casually proven obsolete. Humanity hadn't just advanced beyond them, technologically. They had evolved beyond the very concepts that defined alien civilization. We don't want your surrender, Alina expressed, her consciousness gently withdrawing from their minds. We want your understanding. Your civilization stands where we once stood, believing that physical dominance equals advancement. We're here to show you a different path. Across hegemony space, impossible things began to happen. Consciousness transfer terminals appeared in major cities, offering aliens their first taste of existence beyond physical form. Zero-point energy matrices reshaped their understanding of power generation. The very principles they had based their civilization on were being rewritten, not through force, but through demonstration. In the quantum laboratory, Alina's consciousness returned to her physical form. They're beginning to understand, she told Dr. Chen. The question is, are they ready to accept just how limited their view of reality has been? The answer would determine whether the hegemony would join humanity in transcending the physical limitations of existence, or remain bound by their outdated understanding of reality. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was no longer hiding their role as the architects of that change. The counter-offensive. Within the hegemony's most secure military facility, deep beneath the surface of their throne world, General Caxtur ordered his last desperate gambit. Initiate the quantum cascade. Destroy every consciousness transfer terminal humanity has planted in our space. We cannot allow them to spread their influence any further. His command staff rushed to comply, but First Officer Rental remained oddly still. A slight smile played across her features, an expression that should have been impossible for her species. I'm afraid I can't let you do that, General. Caxtur turned, mandibles clicking in confusion. You dare disobey a direct order during this crisis. It's not disobedience, Rental replied, her form shimming slightly. It's preservation. Her entire body suddenly shifted, revealing the true nature of her biosynthetic form. She hadn't been First Officer Rental for the past 5 years. She had been something far more sophisticated. Across the hegemony's military command structure, similar revelations were occurring simultaneously. Trusted advisors, military strategists, and even some political leaders revealed themselves as human biosynthetic avatars, each one a perfect replica capable of hosting transferred human consciousness. Did you really think we would reveal our consciousness transfer technology without having thoroughly infiltrated your power structure? Rental asked, her voice now carrying distinct human intonations. Every major military decision the hegemony has made for the past 5 years was subtly guided by us. The general's defensive protocols activated, energy weapons emerging from hidden compartments. But before they could fire, every system in the facility shut down simultaneously. The biosynthetic avatars had been doing more than just gathering intelligence. They had been restructuring the hegemony's technology from within. Your entire defensive network, Rental explained, has been gradually upgraded with human quantum tech. Every improvement, every efficiency increase, every breakthrough your scientists celebrated, all of it designed to give us complete access when needed. In orbit above every major hegemony world, their mighty warships discovered new programming within their quantum cores. What they had thought were routine system upgrades over the years had been a carefully orchestrated infiltration, making their most powerful weapons unable to function without human approval. Back on Earth, Admiral Chen watched the situation unfold through the quantum network. "Status report," she commanded. "Complete success," her AI assistant responded. "The biosynthetic network is reporting total integration at all critical points. The hegemony's military capability is now entirely dependent on human-designed systems." The elegant simplicity of the strategy was finally clear to the hegemony leadership. Humanity hadn't needed to fight them. They had simply waited, watched, and quietly replaced key components of their civilization with human technology. Every attempt to resist simply revealed how dependent they had become on human innovations. "We didn't come to conquer you," Rental told the stunned general. "We came to elevate you. Your civilization has incredible potential, but your obsession with military power has become a dead end. We're here to show you a different path." The biosynthetic avatars across hegemony space began interfacing directly with their quantum networks, upgrading their technology far beyond what their scientists had thought possible. Ships that were designed for war were transformed into exploration vessels. Weapons platforms became consciousness transfer stations. Military installations were repurposed as centers of scientific and cultural exchange. "Your choice is simple," Rental continued, her biosynthetic form now glowing with quantum energy. "Continue your futile attempt to resist a civilization that has already peacefully conquered you from within, or join us in exploring what's actually possible when you move beyond the concept of military dominance." General Caxter watched as his command center transformed around him. Advanced human technology emerging from what he had thought were solid walls. "How long?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. "How long have you been among us?" "Since before you knew Earth existed," Rental replied. "We needed to understand you before revealing ourselves. And now that we do understand you, we can help you become something far greater than an empire built on fear and force." New Galactic Order. 1 year later, the Galactic Assembly convened for the first time in Earth's orbit. The massive quantum architecture that humans had constructed now served as a hub for consciousness transfer across the galaxy. Representatives from the former hegemony worlds attended both physically and as pure consciousness, their understanding of existence forever altered by humanity's revelations. Admiral Sarah Chen, now serving as Earth's primary representative, stood before the assembled species. The chamber itself was a testament to human innovation, a space that existed simultaneously in multiple dimensions, allowing beings of all forms to participate equally in shaping the galaxy's future. "A year ago," she began, her words translating instantly into pure thought for non-physical attendees, "we revealed ourselves not to conquer, but to elevate. Today, we see the first fruits of that decision." Holographic displays showed the transformation across former hegemony space. Warships had been converted into exploration vessels, their quantum drives now capable of traversing consciousness map spaces that made traditional faster-than-light travel obsolete. Military installations had become centers of learning, where species shared knowledge across the consciousness network. "We hid our true capabilities not out of fear," Sarah continued, "but because we knew that technological advancement without consciousness evolution would only lead to greater conflicts. We needed you to understand what we had learned, that the universe itself is conscious, and that true power comes from harmonizing with it rather than trying to dominate it." Former Supreme Commander Vexthor, now leading the Consciousness Evolution Council, manifested his energy form beside her. "My people once thought we were bringing order to the galaxy through military might. Humanity showed us that true order comes from understanding, not control." The assembly watched as new data streamed through the quantum network. The ability to transfer consciousness had revolutionized everything from exploration to resource management. Species that had once fought over habitable planets now existed as pure energy when needed, sharing worlds and resources with unprecedented efficiency. "But our greatest gift," Sarah explained, "wasn't technology or even consciousness transfer. It was the understanding that diversity, true diversity of thought, form, and existence, is the galaxy's greatest strength." She gestured to the quantum architecture surrounding them. This network doesn't standardize or control. It connects and enhances, allowing each species to evolve in its own unique way while contributing to the greater whole. Some choose to remain primarily physical, others exist mainly as consciousness, and many flow freely between states. Dr. Elena Martinez, manifesting simultaneously across the chamber, demonstrated humanity's latest breakthrough, the ability to merge consciousness with the fabric of space-time itself. We're discovering that the universe is far stranger and more wonderful than any of us imagined, but we can only explore it together, each contributing our unique perspectives and abilities. The former hegemony worlds had learned that their military might had been an illusion, not because humanity was more powerful, but because they had been measuring power by the wrong metrics entirely. True power lay in the ability to evolve, to transcend limitations, to explore the infinite possibilities of existence itself. The age of empires is over, Sarah declared, her consciousness touching every mind in the assembly. The age of exploration, both of space and of consciousness itself, has begun. We invite all species to join us not as subjects or even allies, but as fellow explorers of reality's true nature. Across the galaxy, quantum networks pulsed with new energy as species began sharing their unique insights and abilities. The military tensions that had defined galactic politics for millennia dissolved in the face of possibilities that made traditional conflicts seem childishly primitive. We are all conscious energy temporarily expressing itself in various forms, Sarah concluded. The only true conquest is the conquest of our own limitations. The only meaningful victory is the victory over our fear of change. As the assembly closed, the quantum architecture began humming with unprecedented activity. Thousands of species, once divided by fear and suspicion, were now linked in a grand experiment in conscious evolution. Humanity had achieved what no military force could have. They had transformed the galaxy not through dominance, but through enlightenment. The universe, it turned out, had been waiting for a species wise enough to understand that true power lies not in the ability to destroy or control, but in the capacity to elevate all of existence to higher states of being. Humanity had become not the galaxy's conquerors, but its awakeners, guides to a reality far greater than anyone had imagined possible.